Hello gentlemen, today I'm going to show you the basics of cover 4 palms and how it works. It's actually a really unique coverage. It's kind of a cover 2, cover 4 hybrid, and it's really a good mix, and you can kind of confuse your opponent if they're in specific sets. So I'm going to show you against a 2x2 set because I believe that's what cover 4 palms is really designed for. It's not really made for 3x1. I explained that in my match deep dive that's now on acemadden.com. I cover every single match coverage that's in the game right now and how it works. Now, all of the match coverages are in big nickel over G. So palms used to be nickel over, which was nickel normal in previous years, but we only have cover 4 quarters and cover 6. That's all we have for match coverages at a nickel over. The rest of them are found in big nickel over G. I'm in the Kansas City Chiefs playbook, and it has, let's see, cover 4 quarters, cover 6 invert, which is basically the cover 3 version of cover 6 trap. We have cover 4 palms, and then cover 9. So like I said, I break down all of these on acemadden.com. Become a member, you'll gain access to this match deep dive as well as the 3 other ebooks we have up. It's only $8.50 if you use code ACE for 15% off at checkout on base membership. So it's extremely cheap. You'll gain access to a ton of content, and I highly recommend it if you guys want to understand how these match coverages work, or if you guys just need a new offense or a new defense. So let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, so let's talk about cover 4 palms. Like I said, we're going to use this against a 2x2 formation because the rules are just going to change if you use 3x1, and it's kind of pointless. It takes away the point of using cover 4 palms. So let's go ahead and call it, and then we'll do Y sail for the example. And the way I'm going to set this up on offense to activate both rules is I'll put this guy on an out route and our outside receiver on a streak, and then we'll leave the strong side the same way that it is. Now, I personally like using palms pressed. I don't think it's quite as good backed off because it doesn't trap as well. Now, here's the thing with big nickel over G, it's a jacked up formation. If you press, so Y or triangle, left stick down, your safeties are going to flip, and you don't want that. So I'm gonna have to reset and then flip my play. Give me a second. Okay, we're back to normal. And this is what I personally like doing out of big nickel over G. I like to manually press my cornerbacks by hitting Y or triangle, A for individual, or I guess X on PlayStation, and then select both of the wide receiver icons for the outside receiver. So I'm just gonna do it really quickly, and then left stick down. So sorry, Y, A, X, left stick down or right stick down, and then you do that on both receivers. Sorry, I did that extremely quickly. It's not that hard. You can do it really quickly. Go ahead, reset. I'll show you how quick it is. See, are we good? We're good. Just like that. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's see if the play is set up good. Okay, we are. And then I'm going to show you what each side is doing. So don't get me wrong, this is not like the greatest route combo of all time. You're probably not going to see this very often, but the point is, this is how palms works. So what we're going to have is a 2 read. So palms is a 2 read coverage, which means they're reading the number 2 receiver. If you guys don't know how that works, the way it works is you read from the outside in. So this guy right here on the outside is the number 1 receiver. This guy here is the number 2 receiver. This guy in the backfield is a number 3. So on the strong side, it's always 1, 2, 3. And then on the other side, number 1, number 2. So both sides are reading the number 2. What they're reading for is a vertical release or a vertical stem. I don't know how that's defined in the game. It could be 12 yards. It's usually around 10 yards, I would say. I don't know what the exact number is that EA has programmed, but it's somewhere around that mark. And they're checking to see if he gets, like I said, vertical. In this case, he's on a short out. So at this point, palms is going to activate. The quarter flat, which is this guy, is going to say, okay, I'm going to pass him off to this outside cornerback, and he's going to jump this out route. Meanwhile, this safety, he's no longer playing a quarter. He's kind of playing this weird deep half. It's kind of a match deep half. I don't want you guys to think about it like a zone deep half, but this entire side works like a cover 2 because once this quarter flat passes that out route to the cornerback, he becomes I would say, kind of a vert hook. So it's kind of like a cover 2 shell on the side. Think of this guy like almost like a soft squat. He jams and then he jumps this out route. And then this guy, he gets passed off to the safety. So that is the cover 2 aspect of palms. Now let me go ahead and do a different route combo on that side real quick. So we'll leave his dig. We'll put the slot on an out route again. I'm going to go ahead and press both my cornerbacks again. And then let's have a look at what happens. So same thing happens, but look at this safety. This is why it's better than a standard cover 2, because it's very robust. The safety, for instance, if he was on a deep path, an actual deep path, he is not going to be able to do this. You see how he actually matches to this dig? So he checks, he's basically overcommitting and making sure that the outside receiver is not running a streak. Because if he is, he absolutely has to get out there. So he sprints out there, realizes he breaks in, he stops, covers his dig. And then we have this vert hook basically underneath to help bracket that. So that is the cover 2 aspect, like I said. And then over here, remember, they're reading the number 2. And when I say they, I mean really all 3 of these guys over here on the side of the field. So this cornerback, this safety, and this quarter flat. So I would say it's mainly the cornerback and the safety that are reading the number 2 and playing 2 read. But the quarter flat is reading him too, because if he sees that he goes short and out, then what's going to happen is he can zone up. So he is definitely reading him too. So what you see is he goes vertical because he gets to about this 10-yard mark. And what that means is both the cornerback and the safety are playing quarters rules. So you see how the safety actually matches to the number 2. Safety's playing 2-to-1, which is, again, this guy that we're following. And he's going to match to him if he goes vertical. And then this outside cornerback is matching to this go route. And then lastly, of course, we have this quarter flat just taking the table. So that is kind of the gist of how palms works. So one thing I need to go into some detail about is the underneath coverage. So I did briefly mention how the quarter flat here, he's going to play a little bit differently than he would in quarters if the palms activates, because he's passing a short out route to that quarter and he's going to zone up. Typically speaking, quarter flats, their job is just to buzz out to the flats and then make sure they don't get out leveraged, and they will actually match to a route. Meanwhile here, like I said, he kind of turns into a vert hook. And then we have the 3 rec, which if you guys are kind of new to the game or you just have never known what it actually means, just means 3 receiver hook. So what his job is he's going to lean towards the strong side because that's where the 3 receivers are. And remember, we counted earlier, outside receivers 1, this guy over is number 2, this guy over is number 3. So remember, just next guy over, number 1, 2, 3. And that's what this 3 receiver hook is looking for. So if you put, for instance, let's say a different route combination on the field, like this in route from the running back, the 3 rec is going to basically match to him. See how he plays the running back? And typically speaking, people who throw 3 recs on the field or have stock 3 recs, they kind of just assume his job is just to kind of play this short middle part of the field. That's not necessarily the case. And 3 recs do play differently depending on if they're shaded down or up. And that is something you can do with match coverage, is you don't have to play a match underneath. You can shade up. We have curl flats now. We have a shaded up 3 rec. And we still have the match activated. So I'll show you. Same route combo that we talked about at the beginning of the video. We now have the out route basically getting double covered. So if you look, match still activates, palm still activates. But now this guy here, he's now helping on that out route instead of passing off. Then over here, you see how he's playing back. If he throws to the running back, he's open, but he's going to rally up and make the tackle. So that's two different ways to play the match. You can play it with match underneath, or you can play it with zones underneath. So yeah, that's how palms works. Hopefully it wasn't super confusing. I tried my best to be as basic as possible. However, I know it's kind of an abstract topic, so if you guys need additional help, just comment and I will definitely respond. And then lastly, like I said, the full deep dive is on acemadden.com. It's called the Match Deep Dive. You can find it under the ebook section. And just become a member. Use code ACE for 15% off at checkout. You'll gain access to that as well as all other ebooks. And it's definitely going to help you guys win more games. All right, I'll see you guys later.